Hi everyone and welcome back. We left this bike yesterday with it firing up but sounding terrible. Now we have to ask ourselves what can cause that. I mean, it's really important we kind of understand what can cause it to not really idle properly. Now the first thing for me, it sounds like, is that somehow the tooth has jumped on the timing chain. Now, not easy to do, but if someone has taken the adjuster off, if they have taken it off and run the engine, then it's more likely to have happened. The other thing we might see under there is we might see that the cog that it's on has rounded off. But the other thing that could be causing this issue right now is the valves could have loosened up, and they could have either gone super loose or they could have gone super tight. So why it's stone cold, I've even pulled it out of the sun because we need a proper reading. I need to turn this engine to top dead center and check the valves to be sure that they both seem within a decent limit. Now I don't think, with me I've seen bikes start, especially when cold, and then kind of give up once it's warm with the valves, or they just don't start at all if they're super tight. So I'd be surprised if this was a valve issue, but it really doesn't hurt to get in there and have a look. So the next step for me is to have a look at the valves. So last time I remember having difficulties trying to see down the spy hole, and it's because of this frame. Look, no matter what angle, and this is with a camera, so with your eye it's even harder if you've got a fat head like me. But so I've taken out the frame and I've dropped it because that was also in the way. Now I can see that my line, I don't know if you will be able to. Nah, no chance. Let me see if I can zoom in down there. But I can see that my line is at top dead center, or at least close to. So I can at least check the valves at this stage. Front one here, of course, exhaust valve. And then the rear one back there, I should be able to just get in there to pop the covers off, and then you just give them a wiggle, just see what's going on. So I'm at a top dead center and both valves are compressed. Yeah, no movement, no clicking in either of them. Okay, so what I need to do is spin the engine a whole full rotation again, come back to top dead center again, just in case I'm at a false top dead center, I'm not on the compression stroke. So I'm going to do a full spin again. I'm going to keep an eye on the valves anyway while I'm spinning slowly, and then I'm going to check again because I may not be again at top dead center, I may be not on the compression stroke. So that's a full rotation and the valves still have no play in them at all. Although, oh, hang on. This one has a tiny bit. Intake has a tiny bit. Exhaust has none. I'm going to reset them anyway, or even just back them out a quarter of a turn for now. You're bound to get them within the boundaries by backing out a quarter of a turn and adding some play to them just at this stage. You would then set them to the absolute appropriate level. Because these valves are spring loaded down, it's really hard to adjust them. If anyone tried to adjust them, they wouldn't have easily got the correct adjustment because the pressure's always down, so you don't feel a looseness in them. Really weird system. But I'm going to fire it up. I'm going to get you on the tripod, fire it up, just see if loosening them off has made a difference. It may or may not have. I won't put any extra fuel in. There should be enough in there just to see a second of something. I've left everything's off. A bit of oil splashing here and there isn't an issue. There's nothing unsafe. Get a little bit of spray in there. Just out of curiosity. Hang on. Silly, I've disconnected the CDIs. There wouldn't have been any spark there. That sounds a little bit better to me. Did we think? Let's put the caps on. What you were hearing there was the valves are open, so you were hearing the valves making a lot of noise. Let me throw the covers on. Alright, so I've got the fuel on now, and everything's, it shouldn't be kicking oil out anywhere anymore. No. I'm going to put a touch more fuel in just in case it idles, but I do want to save some fuel for the fazer startup as well. But let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get it to idle. Sounds better. Could I be unlucky enough to have more than one problem?
Give me a start. Bit smoky.
Alright, here it is. The moment of truth. I'm gonna set up.
Half an hour later.
I couldn't find the keys. I'm gonna set up jump leads and put fuel straight into the carbs, and let's just see what happens with power. So it's gonna need plenty of fuel from that little tank. Huh? This is it. That would be too high octane.
Yeah. Don't spit it, Charlie. Don't waste fuel because of tenor, Charlie. You can't afford fuel.
At this garage, you can always afford fuel. Because the garage doesn't function without it. Right, so that should.
I see moment of truth.
So we should see it. It should go down, fill up the carbs, and it should even out.
And yeah, the jump leads.
We know the carbs are empty and fresh. Oh, it is travelling, wow. There's new ones down there, Abjad.
Yeah.
It is travelling. I want to put the lid on. Where's the lid? No, there's some new ones. They're all a bit like someone gave me these yesterday. Caretaker, that school's closed down just there.
Oh.
Caretaker gave me loads of tools.
What tools?
Like this, that whole, there's a whole good tool set back there. Right, let me get set up, see what kind of electrics we got. Right, I'll leave this on because if I blow up, that'll be great viewing. Power's on. Earth's on. Got something. Okay. Wow. Choke. I don't know if I connected a choke. I do choke by hand. Choke by hand. Oh, that's a low compression. Alright, not bad, there's some compression there. Let me get the coils hooked back up and let's see, we might get lucky.